Hi guys, my name is Shraddha and you're listening to Just Baate.
I'm a fool for your love.
Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Just Baate. I'm your host Pratib and I've got alongside me my co-host Ashwin. Ashwin, first episode after our announcement. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling great, dude. The thing is, we have done 50 plus podcast episodes, but this is our first after the announcement, and I'm as excited as I was when we started off. And we couldn't have asked for a better guest. Here's the thing. So, Pratip and I were reading a lot about her, and we saw a lot of interviews where she was a guest on. And we couldn't really come up with an introduction because she's just done a lot and she's gone through so much. So, just put it simply, she's a business owner, she's a writer, she's a poet, she's also a fighter because of how much she's gone through, and she's come out on a high. Shraddha, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you guys for having me.
Now, before we get into the episode, we have an icebreaker for you. Like I said, you're a writer, you're a business owner, you're a poet. You're also a performer. You've done a lot of open mics. So if someone were to ask you, what do you do? And if you were to give yourself a title, what would that be?
So basically, when I used to be on Bumble, so this was my title: slam poet, performer, entrepreneur, and student. Because I don't know if there is
Wow.
anything else I can say.
I mean, that's
So
perfect.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that is what my introduction would be. So yeah.
To get right into it, I was going through one of your interviews with someone else, and you spoke about how until 10th grade you looked forward to going to school and you wanted to go to school every single day, and then something switched in 11th.
Yeah.
Now, what was this switch and how did you come out of that? Because a lot of people, like even me personally, from 10th to 11th, I changed schools. So, and there was a switch and I didn't want to go to school anymore. So, what was it for you and how did you come out?
I think when I went, so obviously after you get like your 10th marks, your college admissions, like in 11th, it's based on how much you've scored. I got a 91 and I obviously was going to go to the school that had, so basically there was from where I'm from, Thane. The school is really well known. So it has only like toppers,
Right.
like who are, so the people in my class, no one had scored below 87.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
Right.
and everybody wanted to do CA in my class.
Hmm.
Like everyone, like you talk, oh, what do you want to do? No, CA I want to be. So this was the only like reaction I used to get. And there was a point where when I used to go to school, so basically I had shifted a lot of schools. So like I was in the same school where I started my education from. So I came back after the whole Dubai, India ordeal, and then I came back to the same school, and I felt so out of place in the school that I've
Right.
actually started my education from. And I know a lot of people here, and it just felt so mentally draining because it was not about what you're doing or it literally didn't matter. It was just how much you're scoring. Like if you're scoring good,
Right.
perfect. You're like set. And I felt so bad because at a point of time, like in 11th, I felt like my everything had just come down to marks. Like there was no extracurricular. And the only extracurricular that was there was MUN.
Okay.
Right.
And I hated going to school. Like every day I used to dread waking up. And I skipped so many classes in 11th on the name that I had my periods. So I was like, I'll not go to school.
Right.
And I barely went to school in 11th. And in 12th, obviously, you had to go to school because otherwise you'll not learn and all of that. And I always like, I had this conversation about how the school made me feel with my mom, like now, when I went back home for 7 months. I had this conversation with her and I asked you, why did you put me in the school back again? You know, I could have just stayed in the same school that I was in.
Right.
I was still gone to Christ and it wouldn't have even mattered. And she was like, yeah, probably then I didn't know the decision that I made. I thought that was right for you. And I was like, there's so many things that you think are right for you. Like, I still regret. So basically, I'm from ICSE board. And in 10th, you have that option. Like, ninth, you have that option, like, you know, to drop science and take up commerce. So I took up commerce then. And in our third optional, out of all the subjects, I had to take computer applications, which
Right.
till now I have not used once in my life.
Right.
Literally. And I still tell my mom I could have just taken up arts or eco and I would have done pretty well in that also. And I would have done arts, and I would have actually been like a proper artist. Like
Yeah.
so basically, I used to like sketch and
Mm-hmm.
paint and everything. So I'm like, that would have just become better. And I still tell my mom that that is the one thing. If you ask me what I regret, is taking a computer applications. First of all, I
Right.
didn't know any basic. So I
Right.
didn't know like C++, Q basic. I
Right.
straight jumped to Java.
Oh,
And
right.
doing that, I realized like I can't, like I hate, like this is one thing I regret.
Pratik, for an engineer, how does that feel, buddy?
Dude, I don't know what to say because personally, I enjoy the subjects, but I totally get where you're coming from because especially ICSE in ninth grade when you had that option, you're still very young and you're still like, इतने सारे subjects में से I have to make a choice already. So, yeah, I get
And I
where
used to
you're
hate those
coming
kids who used to be in the science sections and used to look down upon the commerce kids.
from.
I'm like, buddy, मैंने 9th grade में decide करा है मेरे को 9th में क्या करना है. तुम तो 12th 11th में आके commerce ही लेना है तुम्हें.
Right, that's so
Right.
true.
That is true.
I was like, ये कहाँ से discrimination? क्यों है ये discrimination?
While we're still on 11th grade, so the next question is actually something on those lines itself. If you could go back to 11th grade, what's one thing that the 11th grade you would not believe about the current you or would be surprised about in terms of like growth or anything?
My 11th grade would like shit her pants if she knew. If she knew anything about me right now, like I think she would shit her pants knowing that I've performed at Habitat. Like she would shit at a lot of things.
Really?
Like she wouldn't believe. Like oh wow. Like yeah man. Thinking about it, man, I would have been so. I would not believe if someone would have told me this. Like I think I've written it in one poetry. Like I wouldn't believe, like long back or something, probably in my journal or something. I would have written that. I wouldn't believe myself. Like someone were to come up to me and tell me that this is all I have done at the age of 19, I'll be like, bro, quit it. I can't. I don't have motivation to wake up and I'm writing. Like, I can't write for myself right now. I'm struggling to even, like, put up my things on, like, Instagram because I think everyone was going to
Oh,
judge me. You're telling me I'm
Right.
performing.
Right.
I would literally, like, man, she would be so proud.
Yeah, I'm sure she
Yeah.
would be. Now, you mentioned your poem, and I was going through some of your poem that you put up on Instagram, and we also read your write-up on Humans of Christ, which is an Instagram page. Check it
Yeah.
out if you guys
You
want.
guys have done your research.
And
Yeah.
in that Instagram page, there was a lot of experience you were talking about in terms of
Hmm.
relationships, and even in your poem, it hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
Which I was loved it, by the way. You
Huh.
talk about being almost drunk in love, if I can say that, with the person you're with,
Hmm.
and you want to do everything with them. You want them to love you. But even in the write-up and in your poem, you talk about the missing of self-love. You forget
Yeah.
about loving yourself. And when was that realization for you that it's great to be in a relationship? I love the idea of being in love, but a
Love,
lot of us
yeah.
forget about self-love and loving yourself. So when was that switch for you?
I've always romanticized, like every time someone used to ask me, how are you? I always used to say, I'm amazing. Why wouldn't I be? And whenever I used to dress up for like, if like my parents and me like used to go out and I'm looking nice, I was always like, yeah, मैं कितनी cute हूँ यार. Yeah,
That's great. That's
it's not-
awesome.
And then I realized that, I expect this or like these small pieces of validation from another person when I literally give it to myself every day.
Mhm.
Like I give it to my the countless number of times that I actually told myself, मैं कितनी cute हूँ यार. It's unbelievable. And I think it started as a thing of I don't know when I had that switch. I just feel like you give so much, like being in love so many times, or like the idea of love, then you never get that idea of love. You
Mhm.
just think that it's so pointless to expect. Like I've written in that poem, I think like I could just make that garden for myself.
Yeah.
Why do I expect for someone else to get it to me? And like someone will get me a flower, I can just make a whole garden myself.
Right.
So that's the whole concept. I think, I don't know, I think over time I have grown to the fact that how much being with yourself and just being is so important that we forget about it in the whole rush of, having someone to love you or having
Right.
someone else to give you that validation.
Was it around this time that you realized that you enjoy writing, or was that something that had come before?
Yeah, I think around 11th when I decided that, friendships evolved. I still never, I don't think so. I just don't, I think I have so many expectations from other people that I forget
Right.
that, I'll never find friendships like that. But I
Mhm.
just genuinely feel like one day I will. Like
Right.
one day there will be a day.
Mhm.
So, but I just feel like there is no much, like at that point of time in 11th, I think I had no other best friend than my diary. And that's when I used to actually write my journals and everything.
Mhm.
And that was a concept given by someone who was actually a teacher to me in 10th grade.
Right.
So basically, I shifted from Dubai to
Mhm.
India and I was really weak in maths because CBSE to ICSE is one
Big jump.
ekdam
Yeah.
ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt I was really weak in geography. I was only good at commerce and history. Hindi was literally, I mean, when we used to be like, when I was in Dubai, we had Hindi as a subject. We literally used to get 11 pages of MCQ grammar. And now I had to learn the whole grammar textbook so
Right.
that I knew so that I knew
Right.
how to get to those 11 marks in the paper.
Mhm.
And I just felt at that time, so I had put myself into commerce tuition for the only reason is because I don't need to come home and study it.
Right.
So so I used to only study since then, like I've started the whole thing of ek din pehle padna. Like, and commerce used to be that subject.
Hmm.
Like I used to study one day before and I used to get marks. And that's when, like, so the teacher used to teach there, expected so much from me. And then the whole bond, like you obviously have that teacher student
Uh-huh.
bond and everything. And he told me, why don't you write? Like, why don't you write it in a journal, whatever you're feeling? And that's when the whole writing in a journal, like journal is your best friend sort of the thing came up. And I started writing, writing, writing. And then I forgot that a world around me existed.
All
And
right. Mhm.
and I felt so at home in that journal. Like I still have that. Like it's some old piece of some conference that my dad went. That notebook, it is there. It is everything is there. And I look back, like sometimes I just go back to that journal and see what shit I was going through to see myself
Right.
now. And I'm like, Shraddha, great. And I think that's when I discovered that I actually can write.
Right.
And I always had this thing that when I used to, so in like when you're young, your mom asks you to read and everything, right? So she gets you storybooks
Mhm.
and everything. I hated storybooks. Like anything like anything book related, I hate it. The whole fancy library we have at home is all of my brother's books.
Right.
And everyone's like, oh my God, do you read this book? I'm like, I've never read anything in my life.
Right.
There was this one book that she had gotten me, 100 essays.
Hmm.
Okay, so she used to tell me every night before you go to sleep, read one essay loudly. There was one essay about family vacation. I was like, my vacation doesn't look at all like this. मेरे ना ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स आता है ना मेरे को कोई खिलाता है मेरी मम्मी मेरे को बना के खिलाती है and I this like whole and then I realized why is there nothing relatable
Mhm.
like every other essay that was there about like family vacation, my friend relationship with my parents, my best friend. I didn't have all of that. And
Right.
I was like, I'll write better than this. At least I'll relate to it.
Fair, fair, yeah.
And I think that's where it started. So basically, when I was very young, my mom tells me this that because my brother and me have a 10 years gap.
Right.
So
Okay.
so when I was like 3 or 4, like he was already 13, 14, and he
Mhm.
started having those big maths textbooks and everything.
Yeah.
And he's an engineering student.
Ah.
So looking at his textbooks, I was like, I also want to, have big textbooks.
Those books.
So like he used to go for Fiji classes, like Fiji, no, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, क्या जो भी
Coaching.
class, हाँ,
Yeah.
coaching and all. And I used to look at his books and he used to be like, मेरे को भी लिखना है. And he used to keep writing all day because his 10th boards and
Right. Oh,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, I also want to write. So
Hmm.
I used to take one book and I've literally sat in one, like I've sat like this taken a pen because my brother used to write with a pen. I also wanted to write with a pen. So just scribble. And I used to fill the whole book in an hour. And just like scribbling like this. And my mom was like, my mom tells me now, like, since then you have really decided that you really wanted to write.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah,
But
probably.
when you were writing as a kid, was it a story or you were just
No, in my head it was a story.
oh right.
And my mom always used to look at the notebook and like, क्या यार और एक notebook खत्म हो गया घर पे.
But that's sweet.
That
That's
was, yeah.
very sweet.
That's quite the journey, dude. Like, and especially, I think one thing I just picked up on is that you didn't like reading books as a kid. Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because generally I'd expect someone who's writing to have like a lot of reading. Yeah. So, and yeah, from there.
Reading shouldn't just be like my perspective of reading is that you shouldn't just have that reading limited to fiction books or
Yeah,
non-fiction
That's true.
books.
Yes. Thank you for that.
I mean, I read a lot. Like, if you see, I'll always have like an article open, or like, I'll always read about things. Like,
Right.
I'll just randomly read about things.
Yeah, both of us, we hardly read fictional books. I read a lot of books, but it has nothing to do with fiction. Not that I hate fiction, by the way. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, both of us read a lot.
Yeah, and then from there, like, so you said, then you started taking part in essay competitions and all, to eventually performing on stage. So, can you tell us about that experience? Because I don't know if you're a good public speaker at that point. Was it nerve-wracking for you? How was that? Like,
So basically, I always used to go for public speaking classes.
Okay.
So I'm a Trinity public speaker.
wow, that's nice.
Oh wow. Right. That's
So I have always had that. Like I'm always like, मेरे को बोलने दो. That's why I'm doing HR specialization. The only thing is that you can speak.
yeah.
Give me anywhere to speak, I'll speak. And I think that I never had that, like being nervous or like, just put me on stage and give me the mic and I will speak.
Right.
That is awesome. But wasn't there a stage like when you, well, like you said, you performed in Habitat? And you spoke about getting validation from others. Weren't you nervous about will they like what I'm saying? Like,
See, I had Yaya Bootwala sitting right next there.
oh wow, right.
And I didn't realize that he was there. And he basically comes for all the open mics and everything. And the first time that I went up on stage, I didn't get, so I basically commented on their open mic post and everything, and I didn't think that I'll get like a reply, but I have one of my relatives in the writing industry, so I got through, so they knew the whole story about it. And when I went up on that stage, I felt, man, I've always had, like, every time, like at night when I used to go to sleep, I used to like see these open mics, unerased poetry and everything. Like, I really want that edge. Like, that edge behind me looks so fucking cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
true.
really want it. And when I went up, for a minute, I just like looked behind. And I was like, I'm here. And then I started going and I realized that, it's like a part of my routine now. Like, I started like going for so many open mics. And I never thought like I'll become such an active open mic person. Like, I'll go and do open mics or poetry and have my own poetry showcase. Like, it feels like surreal to me when you like come and it's nerve-wracking because
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
you've
definitely.
always like, I've just felt like, I don't know, like it feels nice to be on stage.
Meant
Like,
to do this,
but-
meant to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just being on stage and you forget about everything that is happening around you.
Yeah.
You're just there. And all the spotlights are on you. And you have the mic and everyone's silent and they're gonna wait, like they're waiting, like, oh my god, when she opens her mouth, is it gonna be shit or is it gonna be like gold? So yeah.
I don't know if Pratip can relate to this. I cannot. Because thinking about just doing this is nerve-wracking. Like, when we know that a guest is going to join the call, I'm all dead inside. Like, I'm so nervous. It's exciting, but I don't know if I'm looking forward to it. I'm just
There's
so
a nervous
nervous.
energy always.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
That's-
always a nervous energy, but I think how you utilize that energy like really depends upon you.
That's true. Writing in your diary is one thing that's very personal to you. Now you started putting your poems out on Instagram. You started performing them. How did your family react to this? Because now they can read it. Do they ask you if you go through this? Or, like, how was their reaction when you started performing?
I remember in like ninth grade, I published a blog and I sent it to my dad. My dad is like, "ये सब क्या है?" And I literally went like, I'll never do it again. And my brother was like, you know what, parents are always going to have that, and like, you should pursue your passion and everything. And when I started like putting out my poetry, my parents were not on Instagram then.
Right. Yeah.
Then I make them addicted to Instagram.
That's nice. I don't know what to say
So
about that.
yeah, and so when like I started posting out everything, so I started doing like actively. I started like I always used to send my mom my pieces. Like I used to tell her on call. My mom always is like, "तुम मेरे को पढ़ सुनाते ना पढ़ते time." Like I lose my track. Like I zone out in the middle. So what you do is you send it to me, and when you're reciting it to me on call,
Right.
it's like I'll read it through.
Right.
So while you're because I zone out in the middle. So my mom started doing that, and then I think it just became a thing. Like it was slowly like a small thing, and like it just led like one thing to another. And my parents have I've never like I think about it now. I just feel very proud that my parents are like that. Like be it
Right.
everybody else in this world. Like right now also like yesterday I met one of my friend's father, and so he was asking all of us like what are we doing right now and
Mhm.
everything. And so I recently got placed at Teach for India, and I
Oh,
wanted to do
Okay.
this
right.
because I didn't want to do a 9 to 5. And so he goes like, so another girl is giving her interview at like a big shot MNC, and he comes to me like, "Oh, Shada, what are you doing?" मैंने बोला हाँ कुछ नहीं business. And
Yeah.
he was like, हाँ मैंने बोला हाँ I didn't say anything. And then the girl goes, one of my friends goes like, "You got placed, right?" And she's like, tell him." I was like, "Yeah, I got placed." And he was like, Teach for India ही तो है. And I was like, okay,
Oh.
cool. I just went to 2 months of like a rigorous
Oh,
process for nothing.
right,
And then he goes like, and I'm like, no, I just want to do my business while
right.
I do
Right.
that.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
for the opportunity and everything. Like, there's no scalability in the business. It's just for pocket money, right? Like, pocket money to aata hai usse.
Right.
I felt so bad.
Ouch.
Felt
That
so
must
bad.
Yeah.
have hurt.
And I literally, like, after that, I called my mom. I was so
Mhm.
happy I was walking. I was going to go to Glen's, drink hot chocolate. My life is set.
Glenn's great, yeah.
Yeah.
My life
Yeah.
is great. And this uncle just like
Mood off.
so bad. And I literally went like I called up my mom and I told her, I should have sat for Deloitte and Deloitte CTC. Man, I am my mom literally so my mom was like, "You really wanted to work at Deloitte. You want to work on Saturdays and Sundays also. You want to work at such a low wage
Mm,
and everything."
right.
And I was like, I don't know. Like my dad would have been proud,
Mm,
when he
Mhm.
tells somebody, he tells well, so he has to explain
Acha,
what my
right.
business is about.
Yeah.
And then he has
right,
to
Right.
now
Right.
explain teacher what is Teach for
right.
India and
Yeah.
how I wanted it so bad.
Mm.
So he has to explain it. Now, if he were to like, oh, my daughter is in Deloitte, it'd be so much more cooler than
Yeah.
him actually explaining everything.
Right.
And I felt like my dad would be like, because at that time
Mhm.
I had an option between JP Morgan and Teach for India. And you can only
Okay.
accept one offer that comes to you,
Ah,
Right.
like offer letter. So I knew I sat for only one placement, Teach for India, because I knew I wanted to do it.
and you
And
got it.
yeah, I got it. And that had been in my mind since like I was in
Mm.
11th.
That's some tunnel vision.
Yeah, yeah. I was just going to say, yeah.
And I just thought, like, yes, I felt so bad. And then my dad sends me this whole big ass text. It's like, Papa, do you think I'm just, my business is for pocket money? My dad goes like, you spend your money like it's your main earning. What will we do then? And I go like, no, I'm just saying, like, I
Mm,
Mhm.
mean, you would have been more prouder if I was in like in big MNC. He's
Right.
like, at the end of the day, job satisfaction is more than, an MNC. And after that, when you get into a great college for masters, you will get into any MNC that you want. And
Yeah.
then that Teach for India or like Deloitte or JP Morgan won't hold any value because your
Right.
experiences would be so much more.
I think your parents and my parents have a lot of similarity in that way, because even my dad tells me that, so I'm doing BB and I'm doing this podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
And there are people who say, like, what are you going to do after? And I tell them I'm going to do journalism, I'm going to become a writer. And they say, where's the money in that? And my dad's like, it's 10 years down the line when their son is not happy, and when you're happy, they'll be like, why didn't you do something else?
Yeah.
So,
And I think they will have that conversation. All these parents, at the end of the day, like children will get frustrated. Like,
yeah.
I know that so many of their kids, like, so many people, like, I wanted to do this, but my parents didn't allow me to do this because, there's no stable paycheck. And I just feel like at the end of the day, like, that frustration is going to come out.
Yeah.
That, it's be like,
Definitely.
it's because of you that I
Yeah.
couldn't be
Yeah.
there. And my parents, I don't think so they want that blame in their lives. They obviously tell us, like me and my brother, they tell us, they have that open conversation that, we did some things wrong, we shouldn't have done it. But, if we knew then, we would have not made that mistake.
Right.
If we had that knowledge then, we wouldn't have made that mistake. It's just that. And my parents have the big fancy terms or how much a big paycheck lies on your
Yeah.
bank account. They don't care. Because
Yeah.
we all will figure our way out. And the
Yeah.
thing is, with me and my brother, we have always set higher expectations for ourselves. And my parents know that. Like, we both want to, be good at what we are doing.
Right.
And they don't worry. Because दोनों बच्चे तो नालायक निकले नहीं इतने ज़्यादा. And I think
Thank God for that.
yeah, like, so they don't have that. Like, they're just all chill. Do whatever you want to do with your life. Just do it. That's it.
That's so true.